Okay, once you have your template downloaded and saved correctly, and I have saved this as a startup drawing, then I'll show you how to draw our ladder diagram. First, we're going to go do a few construction lines to get this started. And I'm going to explain this drawing just a little bit. We have some more layers here. And so I want to show you kind of what some of these layers are. When we do our diagram, we're going to be in the wires, and this will be where the actual wires go. And then we have a text box over here. That is where our reference numbers are. And if we hide them, you can see where some of those numbers go, and they are. So we eventually you might modify some of these. So this number here is just the line number, and then this reference number here is the page number. So you notice this is 01, so this is our first page, and then this is actually the line number on our page. And I'll explain why we use those as we go here. So first, we're just going to do the construction line. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here because this is the part of the drawing that we're going to use. You have to click the zoom button before you can zoom in. And then zoom in. And we're going to start here on line 3. That is referencing our information out here. We already have a text in here for you, and this is in the template. We will modify this as we go. So this just kind of references where it needs to be placed on our drawing. So we can just copy this and move it down and edit it as we need to. So we're going to do a construction line. So you get in and notice you can probably see it here. So the first 2 digits is our page number, and then the second digit is our line number. So this is line 0, 1, 2, 3, and then this is our page 1. So we're working on sheet 1. This drawing is only going to have 1 page. The drawings we do will only have 1 page. Some of your future drawings may have more than 1 page, 1 sheet, so you may have to have a different sheet number. So we're going to start with just in this construction, and we're going to make it line up with our 3 here. So we're going to do middle. So type in MID. So we're going to do in the middle of our 3rd line. And we're just going to come over till it intersects our what we're going to call our power rails on our drawings. And I'll explain how this circuit works whenever we get it drawn, how it works electrically. But we're just going to focus on the drawing part of it now, and we'll talk about how it electrically works when we get into the motor controls. Now we have a construction line, so it shows us where to start. Now I want to go back to our wires, and we'll click on our wires, and we're going to add a wire. And this wire is just going to go over 0.5, and that'll line us up pretty good as we go. That's just kind of how we're going to use it for our drawings. Then we're going to escape, and you also notice here when you download the template, you get a bunch of blocks that we're going to use in our drawings. So we want to put in a push button. So we're going to click on our push button, and you notice it's going to come with us, and it has a set point right down the edge. So if we just bring it over to our line, we'll click on that line, and that will be our push button. So when we draw a start-stop circuit, we need a normally closed push button. So a normally closed push button is normally closed until you push it, and then it opens. So this will allow current to flow until you push it. Now, I purposely did not put a block for a normally closed push button, so I want us to make one. So the first thing we have to do, and we're just going to modify this block into a normally closed push button. So we're going to zoom in because it's a lot easier when you can see it up close. So we're going to just select this block, and first we have to explode it, and that will make it so we have individual pieces. And for some reason it didn't explode. So that it is exploded, so we have each individual piece that we can do. So the normally closed, all we have to do is take this part, and we've got to move it to where it's down below our circles. So we're just going to click on a certain point up here, kind of out of the way of everything, and we're just going to drag this straight down. And we're going to do this a little by eye. It's close enough for us. just to where it is at the bottom of our circles. So that's going to be a normally closed push button. So we're going to click that, and then that will make us a normally closed push button. But now I want for you to go ahead and make a block out of this. So I want you to click, and again, we're going to go from the top to the bottom. So we only select the things that are in our box. So we select our normally closed push button, and we're going to come up here to create a block. And then I just want you to do an NC for normally closed and push button. And you can tell that I am a really good typer. And then we will click OK. It's going to ask us for a base point, so we want to do it here at the end of this line. So when we put it in, we will have a point to put it in. So now you notice that it is the whole thing, and it is a block for us. So if we need another normally closed button, we already have a block made for that. So now what I want to do is take our line that we made originally, and I want to copy this, and I want to move it to the other side to keep our spacing the same. Notice you get an X this time, and that X means that it's on the tangent of our circle. So we'll click X, and that will put our line next to where we are. Then we're going to escape, and then we're going to insert our normally open push button this time. And it's going to be right on the edge. So we have a stop button and a start button, and now we need to have a control relay that we're going to turn this on. So if we move our picture over a little bit, we're going to take our original line, and we're going to copy this. This time we got to make sure that we select this end as our end point, and it goes straight over until we get our X here, and that's going to copy our line there. And again, that will keep our spacing correct. We're going to escape so we don't continue to copy that line. Now we're going to insert again, and we do have a coil in here somewhere. So we're going to select the coil, and you notice our point is on the other end. We're just going to drop it out here in space somewhere, and then we're going to move it to align it to where we need it to go, and then we're going to select the correct end and align it with our line. And then we'll just simply add a line here to complete our circuit. Okay, so we're not quite done yet. So for a start-stop circuit to work, the current is going to flow from our power source. This will be our hot wire, if you will. It will go through the normally closed button as long as nobody's pushing it, and then it will stop here. But then whenever you push this button, the power will continue and power our relay. This will be our output. And then when the relay changes contact, we want to hold in so that this will stay on, and we can release it and it will stay on. So the way we do our hold in is we're going to draw a line down and over and up. Okay, now we're going to add our hold in. To add our hold in, we're going to orient this correctly on our drawing. To do that, we're going to go to our construction line up here, and construction layer. We want our hold in to be on line 6. So we're going to select as a line, and we're going to type in mid again, so it'll be in the middle of our blocks here. So this will be in line 6. We're just going to draw this out here in space somewhere for right now. So once we have our construction line in here, we can go back to our wires, and we can add our wire. So our wire is going to go from the middle of this line here. So we're going to type in mid again, and go to the middle of this line, and we're going to go down to where it intersects our construction line that we previously made. And then we're going to escape, and I just want to delete this construction line for now. And then we're back in our wiring layer. I want to come up here, and I want to make a line that is just from here to here. Now that's not where that line goes. That's just to give us a correct spacing of that line. We're going to select on it. We're going to move that line from its end point here down to the end of our line. And then we'll insert our contacts, and it will go into the end of this line. And then again, to keep our layout correct, we're going to copy this line from this end to this end, and then you can just simply draw another line back to the top, and that will allow it to orient correctly. So this is our circuit, but we're not quite done yet. We need to add us some labels to our drawing. So we're going to label this stop. We're going to layer this start. This is going to be our CR1, and this is the same CR1 down here. So now I want you to go to your text layer, and I want you to add the text. I'm not going to do this whole thing for you, but I will let you do it. I'll tell you a couple things. We do not want this to be 2.5. We want it to be 0.125, which is a quarter of an inch. So we'll select that or type that in. And then we're just going to type in stop. And again, it should be in all caps. And then we're going to take this and kind of move it down here and center this up. This is a little more difficult to center because the different words, longer or shorter words, is going to need to be centered differently. So we're just going to center this kind of by eye. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to let you do the start, but I want to do the CR1 up here. We need to make sure that our size is correct, 0.125. And then we're just going to go CR space 1. This is going to be our control relay 1. Again, we need to center this just a little bit. Bring it down to where it's over the top of the relay the best we can. Now the thing about this one, CR1, and this is CR1 also. So we're just going to take this and we're going to copy it, and we're going to move it down here to where our contacts for that relay is. So this is the same device, so now we're going to have the same label for where the contacts are used and where the coil is used. And I also want you to notice one more thing about this drawing. That you notice here the control relay, this is what this actually is a control relay. And then we have a number down here that is 0006. So this number is not correct. So we need to modify that number, but that is the reference number for this line. The line this is actually on is 0106. So that is to show us all the places that the contacts of this relay are used. So we're going to escape out of our pan, and we're going to double click on this, and we're going to delete the 0 and add a 1. So that will be where this contact of this relay is located. So I want you to go ahead and put the label for our start button, and then I want you to come down here and to fill out your text box. So after you fill out your text block, I would like for you to save this as our start-stop drawing and submit it into Blackboard.